Hello and welcome everyone. It is time for a Modern Horizons 3 update. If you've been playing a lot of Modern and Legacy, you definitely know what's coming up. A new set that's going to shake up both formats. I do want to start by saying that this video will discuss both Modern and Legacy. I'm not going to do a separate video for this because I think that some cards are going to be applied to both Modern and Legacy, some are not. But I didn't want to make two separate videos, so that I will discuss my choices for both formats in this video. So what is the goal of this video? I've gone through all the spoilers of Modern Horizons 3, and this will be an in-depth discussion for potential cards that I could see working in Infect, both Modern and Legacy. I'm going to discuss why I think the card could be good in Infect, and I also discuss in what kind of build I think it could be good, because I have seen some cards that I could believe being good in some kind of builds, but maybe not in other kind of Infect builds. And we have, if you've been watching my content for a while now, you know that I've made a ton of different kind of builds, so I'm going to have a lot of things to try out as soon as Modern Horizons 3 hits, so you can expect a lot of new builds of Infect coming soon. Let me know what you think, by the way. Did I maybe miss anything? Let me know in the comments below, because it's always interesting to maybe see cards that I did not appreciate enough. Yeah, let me know what you think. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe for more content. I'm going to do this for Infect. I'm also thinking about maybe doing this for Jeskai Control in Legacy, because I've been getting much more experience with that deck, but I'm not sure yet if I'm going to be doing that. Anyway, enough small talk. Let's just dive into some cards that I think will be great in our deck, and we shall start out with Nadu Winged Wisdom. Like, what else? If you were on Twitter or if you've been following some kind of Magic content, people are freaking out over Nadu Winged Wisdom. Now, honestly, I think that Nadu is fine. The card. Let's just read it first, right? So 3/4 flying, so doesn't die to bolt. That's relevant. 1 green and a blue. That's perfect for us because we are already green-blue. Whether you're playing Modern or Legacy, it's the same. And creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. This ability triggers only twice. Now, I want to address a couple of things about this card first, and why it is so good. First of all, creatures you control have this ability. That means that every creature separately gets this ability. So this ability is not only going to trigger twice off of Nadu. No. Like if I have Nadu and Listener, for example, if you try to bolt Elf twice and Nadu twice, I will gain, each of these triggers will happen on each creature, right? So it's not like this can only happen, generally in every turn. Does that make sense? And on top of this, you reveal the top card and then put it into your hand, or if it's a land card, onto the battlefield. This means Bowmasters does not trigger this, because you don't actually draw the card, you put it into your hand. And the fact that if you find the land card, you can actually just put it into play untapped, it is insane. And also it says not just a spell, but also an ability. Wow, this, when I first read the card, I felt like it was made for Infect, but apparently I was wrong, because what happened now is that everyone's buying Shukos everywhere. So Shuko is an equipment that has equip 0, and that's just insane, because what you can do is you can basically equip every single time for free and draw, well, not draw, I'm saying draw, it's not a draw, but I use the ability of Nadu. So I'm a bit afraid of the combination of Nadu with Shuko. Honestly, I could see Shuko getting banned in both Modern and Legacy, because it really feels way too powerful. 0 and this effect is insane, and if you've been watching Twitter and other places, people are heavily into the combination of Nadu and the equipment. So I don't know. That feels broken to me. I don't see them banning Nadu anytime soon, but I could see maybe Shuko getting the axe. Scary stuff. But I think this card, let's go to Infect now, is going to nuts, because well. Going to be nuts because we want to do everything that this card does. If we use our own pump spells, the ability triggers. And what you can do is, even if you tap out for Nadu, right? You tap out for Nadu, they try and kill it. You flip the top card. If it's a land card, put into play, use another protection spell, and you get another trigger. So it's insanely good in our deck, because we can protect Nadu very, very easily. So excited for this. I'm not sure if I want to be having how many Nadus I want, because it is legendary. So we will see. I will try this in both Modern and Legacy. I think it will be very good in Modern. I'm not so sure if it's worth it in Legacy, because we have Legolas's quick reflexes there. So removal spells are usually not that big of a deal as they are in Modern. But I'm definitely going to try it out and see if it works. What I also love is that since its abilities, what you can do is you can actually just Pendelhaven your 1/1 and get a trigger, which is really nice. So yeah, interesting stuff. We will see where we end up with this. Next one, Tameo Inquisitive Student. So for 1 on a blue, you get a 0/3 flying. When it attacks, you investigate, and that means you get a clue token, which you can sack to draw a card if you pay 2 mana. And then when you draw your 3rd card in a turn, you exile it, return it to the battlefield flipped, and then it has +2. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker, it gains -1, -0 until end of turn. -3 says target instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. If it's green, add 1 mana of any color, and then -7 is you win the game. I'm exaggerating, but that's basically it. So I think this card... I expect this to be really good in Legacy Infect. I'm not so sure if it's going to be good enough in Modern Infect, specifically because in Modern, we don't draw as many cards. In my latest builds, sure, I am playing Preordains, but I don't know. However, being a 0/3 flying is so relevant. Being able to block creatures on the first turn is insanely strong. So I'm going to discuss Modern first, right? Turn 1 plays, creatures, especially in our deck, have always been difficult because you never want to block with your threat. Like, if I play Glistener Elf and they play Ragavan, I just can't block. I need Glistener Elf, but you just can't let Ragavan hit because they get 3 mana, and it's so difficult to deal with. However, Tameo just completely turns this around. Especially being a 0/3 is so good, having flying is good. I've been able to test with this card in my player group. They allowed me to play with proxies, and it has surprised me. Like, it really did surprise me how good it was. Another reason why I really like this is that the clues, whenever it attacks, they add up very quickly. You will very quickly get enough clues to just draw for the clue tokens and then being able to flip Tameo. And what I also love is that if it flips, right, the -3 ability for our deck is relevant because we want to bring back pump spells. And we are probably the only deck that will ever bring back a green instant or sorcery. So we can actually use the mana that we get that way. So I really like the Tameo. And, like, don't even get me started about Legacy. I've tried this in Legacy and it was insane. Playing turn 1 Tameo, second turn Brainstorm, flipping it immediately. Sometimes I just had games where I didn't even need Infect anymore. I just plussed a Tameo a couple of times, protected the Planeswalker, and won that way. Because suddenly all of our pump spells are protection spells. And what you can do on Tameo is, well, people are going to destroy this. So I had a game against Delver where I just played Tameo. They bolt Tameo. I just invigorate my Tameo and I just won from there. That's how powerful it is. Being able to block all of the creatures that they have, the flyers, means that every single time, if they attack with a Delver, if I have a pump spell, I can kill it. So every pump spell becomes a removal spell. So yeah, it was really surprising to me how good this was, and I'm going to be heavily testing this out because I think it's going to be an alternative winning condition in Infect that people will not expect but have to respect, and being able to use the -3 for its full potential is great. So yeah, a lot of testing to do with this card for sure. Another one, Fanatic of Rhonas. So for 2 mana, you get a 1/4, tap for green, and then Ferocious at 4 green. Activate only if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, and then you have Eternalize, but that's flavor text. I could see myself, people are wondering why I put Fanatic of Rhonas in here. So I think this is only going to be for Modern. Let me start by saying that. Our pump spells are a way to cheat Fanatic of Rhonas in a very interesting way. Because what we can do is if you play Fanatic of Rhonas turn 2, and then you have turn 3, if you just use a pump spell on Fanatic of Rhonas, it will get power 4 or greater immediately, so it does not rely on other creatures hitting the board before you can use this. So what you can do effectively with it is that, imagine you have like turn 2 Fanatic, turn 3 play a land. So I use a pump spell on Fanatic, that means it has power 4 or greater. So I can now tap it for 4 green, but I have 2 lands left. So on turn 3 I could have 6 mana, right? That's how it works with pump spells. It's insane. I'm gonna brew heavily with this card. And the idea here that I have is to maybe play an Infect kind of build that is not as all-in, but try and resolve more of those like bigger creatures that have them having toxic. So playing big creatures that have toxic on them, maybe that's worth it. Playing also a couple of like Listerels, etc., to also use that to still have the full benefit from the pump spells. Who knows, maybe I could, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking about. This is going to be a brew. I'm not sure if it's going to be good enough, but it is something to note that, yeah, it's another thing to try out. Next, we have Revitalizing Repast, which is for 1 green or black, you can put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and it gains indestructible, or you can have it enter tapped as green and black. I love this card because it's a land that is basically Snakeskin Veil. It's a little bit worse than Snakeskin Veil because it gives indestructible, so not hexproof. So against white removal spells that exile, it doesn't do as much. But the fact this is a land makes this very good, and I'm going to try this in literally every single build of Infect I can find. Probably only for Modern. I don't think this is what we want in Legacy, but it is a good one. Next up, Sylvan Safekeeper. This is Modern only. I've played this card in the past in Legacy, in fact. That should tell you enough about the power level. The fact that this is legal in Modern now is insane, because if we play this turn 1, right, you can use the ability immediately, and the fact that we can now use lands as a resource, where very often late game we just have too many lands and we can't do anything with this, makes it so I'm thinking about playing a more all-in build, an old school Infect build that has Sylvan Safekeepers in there, and then just like, okay, yeah, fire off all the removal, I don't care, I just need 1 or 2 lands to win the game. So I'm going to try this one out, and I'm excited for playing this in Modern. Next one, Lion Umbra. This may be a bit surprising to have put this card in here, but I played with this card at pre-release yesterday, as the time of recording, and honestly it surprised me. I was playing a green, white, blue build where I played a lot of modifications, and I did not lose a game when I had Lion Umbra in my opening hand. It was insanely powerful, and I didn't... The thing is that you need the creature to be modified. That's the only downside. If this was not enchantment modified creature, it would be a snap inclusion. Because what this basically does is it gives your creatures eternal pump spells. Also Vigilance and Reach. I'm going to try and build a entirely new deck, Modern only, based around your Infect creatures having modifications on them. I'm not sure where I will end up. This is going to be a brew, but if I can make it work, Lion Umbra is insane, and I think it should be very good. Then this is probably going to be both Legacy and Modern. Kudo, King Among Bears. What this one does is that other creatures have base power and toughness 2/2 and are bears in addition to their other types. So let's discuss Modern first. This may be another interesting addition, maybe an unexpected one, but keep in mind that Kudo, basically for our Phyrexians, is a lord. Because our Phyrexians are all 1/1s. So what Kudo does is it's a Phyrexian Lord, you can read it as such a way, but it also makes all the other creatures only 2/2s, right? So they become worse. And I really like that because we are playing pump spells, but our opponents are not playing pump spells. Now, of course, they can just bolt Kudo. That's a downside, but we can protect it. So I'm interested to try this out in some kind of builds. Having a Lord that also has other upside is interesting. And what I also love is that in Legacy specifically, the fact that all the other creatures are now also bears makes Embiggen even better because they gain another creature type. So Embiggen is now larger, which is hilarious. Not sure if it's going to be good enough, but I did want to point it out. I think it's going to be funny. Planet Genesis, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped. If you don't, put a card from among them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. So this is an interesting one. What I like about this is only going to be Modern if we ended up playing this, is that you can end of turn play Planet Genesis and just slam Inkmoth Nexus into the battlefield, and it has, when it's your turn, you can immediately attack with this. I like that. Is that going to be worth it, playing green and blue? I'm not sure. I just wanted to put this one out there. I will try this out, see if it's good enough. I don't have a lot of expectations for this one, but it's interesting enough to add it in here. And this one, Dreamtide Whale. So for 3 mana, you get a whale which has Vanishing 2. Vanishing means this creature enters the battlefield with 2 time counters on it, At the beginning of your upkeep, remove one of them. When the last is removed, sacrifice this. And whenever a player casts a second spell, each turn proliferate. So the more I thought about this card, the more I liked it, because we can actually finally have a creature like 7/5 for 3 mana is nuts. Vanishing 2 is what makes it bad, but however, we want to fire off spells, and potentially this also triggers when your opponent does cast 2 spells, and we can really benefit greatly from the proliferate, because you can use proliferate to increase the amount of poison counters on an opponent. And also, if I'm going to search for a build which has more +1/+1 counters, you can also proliferate that. And again, we have a 7/5 here, so that's insane. So both Modern and Legacy, is it going to be good to go? I don't know. Honestly, couldn't tell you, but it is interesting, and I wanna brew with this and see if I can make it work, because I do think that it's going to be spicy if we can get it. If you can continuously add these vanishing counters on it and keep it around for 3 mana, that's going to be very good. And then I think this was the last one. We have Collective Resistance. This is just a potential sideboard card. What this does is that for 2 mana, you get to destroy artifact, enchantment, or give a creature hexproof and a destructible until end turn. And you can use more of these if you play the escalate cost. I like the flexibility, the fact that you can... this is basically an upgrade of Naturalize. We have artifact enchantment, but also giving a creature hexproof and indestructible is really nice. Having to pay 2 is a downside. However, what you can also do is get rid of Chalice with this, which is an upside. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to test this in the sideboard, see if it's good enough. Okay, so that was it for the video. Let me know what you guys think. Though, do my choices make any sense? Did I forget any cards? If you enjoyed this, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. And you can expect a lot of new content from me coming soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.